Hello everyone and welcome to PUTA Planet. Today we'll be exploring the remote Omo River Valley in Ethiopia. Welcome to the land of the Mursi, one of the world's most dangerous and mysterious tribes. Isolated in the barren desert, this place is completely cut off from the modern world. For the Mursi, each hunting trip is not just about finding food, but a fierce daily battle for survival in the impossible places. Join us on this thrilling journey of discovery now. When the Mursi people are mentioned, the first image that comes to mind for many is the distinctive lip plates worn by the women of this community. This is one of the most well-known cultural practices in Africa.
వీళ్ళకి ఎంత పెద్ద ప్లేట్ ఉంటే అంత అందంగా ఉంటారు అన్నట్టు రిప్రజెంటేషన్ అన్నమాట.
But behind the image that tourists often see in photographs, there exists a much more complex story. For the Mursi, the body is not just a part of a person. It is also a place to express identity, history, and an individual's place within the community. There are places on Earth where reaching them requires more than just a plane ticket. You need time and patience. In southwestern Ethiopia, amidst the arid grasslands, exists a community that has adapted to the harsh environment for hundreds of years. These are the Mursi, one of the most famous communities in the Omo Valley, considered one of Africa's most culturally diverse regions. Before understanding the people, we must understand the land that nurtured them. For the Mursi, nature is more than just their home. For many city dwellers, nature is outside their window. But for the Mursi, nature determines whether they have food today or not. A healthy herd of livestock can determine a family's stability. This harsh environment has forged a community with exceptional adaptability. So who are the Mursi? To answer this question, consider their estimated population of just over 10,000 people. The Mursi are a Semitic ethnic group primarily residing in the lower Omo region of Ethiopia. Compared to the millions of inhabitants of Ethiopian cities, they are a small community. But their cultural influence far outweighs their population size. The Mursi are one of the last indigenous groups in East Africa to maintain many ancient traditions. Their traditional language is Mursi, a Semitic language. The Mursi do not live in a closed world, for all cultures change. The question is, how will they change, and what can they retain as the outside world increasingly influences their land? For the Mursi, survival doesn't come from a single skill, nor solely from hunting. Each family must maintain a delicate balance between many different sources of sustenance. Therefore, the Mursi people built their lives on adaptability, and at the heart of that life was their livestock. If there was one thing that could tell the story of the Mursi without words, it was their cattle. Every morning, as the first rays of sunlight began to fall on the arid lands of the Omo Valley, a familiar sound echoed through the village. When mentioning the Mursi, many people immediately pictured warriors wielding spears venturing into the wilderness. But the reality was far more complex. Hunting was not their sole source of livelihood. For the Mursi, today's survival came from a combination of livestock farming, agriculture, harvesting, and sometimes hunting or controlling animals that destroyed crops. To those unfamiliar with this environment, all these details were meaningless. But to an experienced Mursi, the land was like a book. Each footprint tells a story. It reveals when the animal passed, which direction it was moving, and whether to continue forward or turn back. If the cattle are their greatest asset, then the sorghum is what sustains the family day by day. For generations, the Mursi have developed farming methods suited to the harsh conditions of the Omo Valley. They don't own vast fields with modern irrigation systems. Instead, they rely on their understanding of the river. Seemingly barren lands can become a source of sustenance in a short time. Their main crops include sorghum corn and several types of beans. This very adaptability has helped them survive in an environment where many other communities would find it difficult to live long-term. To understand the Mursi, one doesn't need to look only at grand ceremonies. Sometimes the real story lies in the most ordinary moments. A Mursi family's day begins before the sun rises. In their small house, built from branches, grass, and mud, a fire is lit. Women prepare food, children wake up, men check on the livestock, each with their own role. The interesting thing about this tribe is that from a young age, some Mursi women may choose to perform the custom of stretching their lower lip using earthenware or wooden discs.
చూడొచ్చు చాలా పెద్ద లిపి ప్లేట్.
This process takes place in several stages, with the lower lip gradually stretched. Then larger discs are inserted over time.
Wow. That's crazy.
This is not a simple ritual. It requires patience and endurance, but importantly, not all Mursi women perform this custom, and its meaning cannot be explained by a single reason. It stems from personal identity, maturity, beauty, according to traditional notions, and community connection. If you look closely at a Mursi village, you can see that art is everywhere. Not in museums, not in galleries, but right on the human
సో ఈ
body.
అక్షరాలు చూడండి వాళ్ళ బాడీ మీద చాలా యూనిక్ గా ఒక్కొక్కరు ఒక్కొక్క రకమైన అక్షరాలు రాసి. హౌ మచ్ టైమ్ ఇట్ విల్ టేక్ టు నార్మల్?
For 1 week they don't work any work.
Beyond the powerful images of hunting and stick fighting, the true foundation for the Mursi people's survival is family. The Mursi community is built on extensive family relationships. No one lives completely isolated. A person needs the support of relatives. Like many pastoral communities in East Africa, livestock plays a crucial role in marital relationships. But marriage is not just a connection between two individuals. It is also a bond between two families. A marriage creates new relationships, new responsibilities, and sometimes alliances that strengthen the community. In Mursi, society experience is highly valued. Elders are often respected because they possess knowledge that no book can replace. They know about their lineage history, traditional rules, grazing lands, how to resolve disputes. They are the keepers of the community's memory. For generations, Mursi education has not taken place in classrooms. It has taken place in nature, a child learning by observing their parents. But this also raises a difficult question. How can a younger generation enter the modern world while maintaining a connection to their roots? A child today might spend the morning studying math in school and the afternoon helping the family care for the cattle. They are living between two worlds. In small, isolated communities, maintaining order doesn't rely solely on modern legal systems. The Mursi have customary laws passed down through generations. When disputes arise, many issues can be brought before respected elders. They act as mediators, listening to all parties and offering solutions based on community traditions. Today, the Mursi's greatest challenge no longer comes solely from wildlife. It comes from larger, more invisible changes. Climate change means rainfall is becoming more unpredictable, droughts are lasting longer, and water resources are becoming more competitive. When the land dries up, it's not just the crops that are affected. Livestock also suffer, and when livestock declines, the entire social structure is impacted. To understand the Mursi people, one cannot simply see a single village. Their lives are shaped by a vast expanse of land. Every river, every valley, every grassland plays a role in their centuries-long survival story. Jinka is a small town in southern Ethiopia. For many travelers, it's the final stop before entering the Mursi region. It's not just a transit point, it's where two worlds meet. On one side are communities that maintain their traditional way of life deep in the valley. In Jinka, visitors can feel the transition. Off-road vehicles carry tourists, while herders from distant regions come to trade goods. These young people use smartphones, but still carry with them the traditional knowledge of their families. This is where the past and present begin to intersect. Before meeting the Mursi in person, an important stop is the South Omo Museum in Jinka. Here, visitors understand that the Mursi do not exist in isolation. They are part of a region with dozens of different ethnic groups. What is special about the Omo Valley is its rare density of cultural diversity. Within the same geographical area, many communities have developed completely different ways of life based on the same environment. Among thousands of cultures in the world, what makes the Mursi special is not just their appearance. It lies in how they build a society suited to their environment. In the modern world, humans rely on GPS, but many Mursi still rely on memory. This is a form of knowledge accumulated over generations, a living map passed down orally. In many modern societies, a person's value is often measured by money or material possessions. But in the Mursi community, livestock still plays a central role. A healthy herd of cattle represents the ability to care for others' stability and responsibility to the family. Livestock do not belong solely to individuals. They are connected to the entire social system. One of the reasons the Mursi have survived through many upheavals is their strong sense of community. In a harsh environment, an individual can hardly survive alone. When a family faces difficulties, relatives provide support, the community shares experiences, and elders offer advice. Solidarity is a form of survival tool. A trip to the Mursi region can offer unique experiences, but it's not a typical tourist destination. High temperatures and arid conditions can be challenging for those unfamiliar with the area. You need to stay hydrated, prepare sun protection, and have a local guide.
Present అయితే Mursi people ఈ ఏరియాలో కొందరు అయితే నివసిస్తున్నారు. వీళ్ళని మనం ఇప్పుడు కలవబోతున్నాం.
One of the biggest challenges isn't the journey itself, but the perspective. You need to understand that the Mursi people don't exist to present a wild image to outsiders. They are a living community with their own joys, difficulties, and choices. Tourism brings new opportunities. Some families earn extra income from guiding tourists, selling handicrafts, and providing local services. These sources of income can help buy food, pay for education, and access modern necessities. But tourism also raises difficult questions. When a culture attracts the attention of outsiders, what happens? Will tradition be preserved, or will it gradually become something to be performed for tourists? This is a problem that many indigenous communities around the world are facing, not just the Mursi. For many years, a major change has been taking place. Today's young Mursi generation has more choices than their ancestors, and their traditions may no longer be fully passed down. But change doesn't necessarily mean disappearance. A culture isn't a frozen object. It's like a flowing river. The crucial question is, can the Mursi preserve their roots while stepping into a new future? After all the hardships, drought, water scarcity, economic pressure, climate change, cultural shift, one question remains: why do the Mursi survive? It doesn't lie in a hunting skill, but in their ability to adapt. They survive because they understand their land. They know how to survive in harsh environments. They know how to turn their livestock into a source of security. They know how to pass on knowledge through generations. They know how to rely on the community when an individual cannot overcome difficulties. But perhaps most importantly, the Mursi have never lived solely on what nature provides. They live by the relationship between humans and nature. A relationship built through hundreds of years of observation, experimentation, and adaptation. Among the most famous traditions of the Mursi Donga is perhaps one of the most striking images. This is a traditional form of stick fighting, but if we only see it as a battle, we will miss its true meaning. Donga is where young men demonstrate strength, skill, courage, and personal honor. Before the match begins, participants prepare, meticulously decorating their bodies, checking their sticks, and mentally preparing themselves for the community's spectacle. When the two opponents step into the ring, hundreds of eyes follow, cheers erupt. The sticks clash together, creating a dry, powerful sound in the vast space. But this is not a free-for-all. Donga has rules, a referee limits, and the goal is not just to defeat the opponent. It's about proving self-control. In the past, and winners of these matches could receive great respect from the community. For many young people, this marks a step towards adulthood, a way to prove that they are ready to take on adult responsibilities. For generations, Mursi education didn't take place in classrooms. It took place in nature, a child learning by observing their parents, learning to recognize footprints, caring for livestock, finding water sources, understanding their surroundings. It was an education system built to serve real-life needs. But today, a new form of education is emerging. Some Mursi children are starting school, learning to read, write, and learn more common languages. This opens up new opportunities. But it also raises a difficult question. How can a young generation enter the modern world while maintaining a connection to their roots? They are living between two worlds, one world of books and the other of land, water, and tradition. Beyond the powerful imagery of hunting and stick fighting, the true foundation of the Mursi people's survival is family. The Mursi community is built on extensive family ties. No one lives in complete isolation. One needs the support of relatives. Cooperation is needed in livestock farming, and help is needed when crops fail. The Mursi use a variety of natural materials to decorate their bodies. Layers of white, black, or red can be created from earth ash, natural minerals, and plants. These patterns are not merely aesthetic. They may appear on special occasions, festivals, rituals, and community events. Bracelets, necklaces, and ornaments are made from various materials. They can represent age, marital status, social relationships, and roles in the community. A small item sometimes carries a whole story. Here, the daily life of this tribe begins when the first light appears. The herds of cattle start leaving the area near the village. Young herders accompany them. They must find places with grass and water. A day can last for hours under the strong sun. Meanwhile, other tasks begin in the village: gathering firewood, preparing grain, repairing tools. When the temperature rises highest, the pace of life slows down. People seek shade, the livestock rest, and this is also when adults pass on knowledge to the younger generation. As the last sun disappears behind the hills of the Omo Valley, the sound of cattle bells rings out in the darkness. Another day ends. Another family overcomes yet another challenge. The outside world may change, new roads may appear, telephones may reach remote villages. But here one thing remains unchanged. People must still listen to the earth, listen to the river, and listen to the lessons that nature has passed down through generations. That is why the Mursi people still exist. Not because they stand outside the modern world, but because they have learned how to survive in a constantly changing world.
వీళ్ళకి ఎంత పెద్ద ప్లేట్ ఉంటే అంత అందంగా ఉంటారు అన్నట్టు రిప్రజెంటేషన్ అనమాట. చూడొచ్చు చాలా పెద్ద లిపి ప్లేట్. Wow, that's crazy. సో ఈ అక్షరాలు చూడండి వాళ్ళ బాడీ మీద చాలా యూనిక్ గా ఒక్కొక్కరు ఒక్కొక్క రకమైన అక్షరాలు రాసి. హౌ మచ్ టైమ్ ఇట్ విల్ టేక్ టు నార్మల్?
For 1 week they don't work any work.